Repeat after me. Baruch.
Baruch.
Dayan.
Dayan.
Haemet.
Haemet.
Blessed be the true judge. Baruch.
Baruch.
Dayan.
Dayan.
Haemet.
Haemet.
Blessed be the true judge. Okay. We all here?
I think we're all, yeah,
Thank
we're all,
you.
yeah, we're all.
Yeah.
Paul bearers, please. Yeah.
People, face the court, so people on this side, being right hand, that side left. Back up.
Where are we going? This way? Mizmor LeDavid Adonai roi lo exar Minod shear vitzeini Al mei menuchot yenaleini Nafshi yeshovev ינחנו במגלי צדק למען שמו גם כי אלק וגצל מוות לא ירא רע כי אתה עמדי שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני תערוך לפני שולחן נגד צורריי דשענת ורשמן ראשי כוסי רוויה אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. The words of the 23rd Psalm, a Psalm of David. Adonai is my shepherd, I shall not want. Giving me repose in green meadows, leading me beside the still waters to revive my spirit. Guiding me on the right path, for that is God's essence. Though I walk through a valley of the shadow of death, I fear no harm, for you are with me. Your staff and your rod comfort me. You prepare a banquet for me in the presence of my foes. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and kindness shall be my portion all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of Adonai forever. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you to all of you on the internet for tuning in. My name is Rabah Aníbal Mas from Congregation Shaare Zedek, and it's my great honor to be here officiating the funeral services for Ruth Gutkin Z of blessed memory. Ruth was also known to the Jewish people by her Hebrew name, Rochel, but Mordechai Beryl Upesel. She was the daughter of Benjamin and Pesel Moscovich of blessed memory, the wife of the late Isador Jack Gutkin of blessed memory, the mother of Terry and Carol, Donald and Belva, the grandmother of Hedy and Scott, Beth and Shane, Sean and Angela and Megan, the great-grandmother of Janie, Joshi, Nevan, Lucy, Angelica, Aria, and Bella Rose, sister-in-law of Shirley Hendon, and the sister of Sid Moss, Norman Moss, Laura Rosen, Hannah Steindl, Esther Herskovich, Irene Gunn, and Evelyn Silver, blessed memory. Ruth passed away on Thursday, November 10th, peacefully, surrounded by the love of her children, at the age of 102. And it's interesting for someone who lived that long, that one of the things he always requested was to have a short funeral. Perhaps as a wish of a person who didn't want people to cry so much and to keep enjoying life. You see, we read in the book of Psalms, chapter 128, verses 5 and 6, and I quote, "May the Lord bless you from Zion. May you share the prosperity of Jerusalem all the days of your life. And may you live to see your children's children. May all be well with Israel." According to this text, the ultimate blessing we can get in this life, even beyond physical prosperity, is to enjoy a long life, not just with our children, but also with our grandchildren. Ruth then got a blessing even beyond this biblical blessing, being able to enjoy children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. We traditionally bless girls by saying, "May you be like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah." That makes sense. These are the initial 4 biblical matriarchs. But when it comes to blessing our sons, the tradition changes, and we say, "May you be like Ephraim and Menashe." Interesting, because Ephraim and Menashe were the names of Jacob's grandsons. And within this Bible story comes the first time that the love between grandparents and grandchildren is acknowledged and sanctified. The rabbis note that while there are many examples in the Torah of parents blessing their children, this is the first and only time we find a grandparent blessing grandchildren. Ruth Gutkin was not only blessed with loving children, but also with loving grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And she was also, like the biblical Jacob, a blessing for all of them, loving them and inspiring them. So at this time I would like to invite Terry Gutkin, Ruth's son, to come to the microphone to eulogize his mother.
This is a day that brings out a great deal of sadness in my mom's family, but also it's a day that we're here to celebrate a truly remarkable life, an end of an era. 102 years my mom lived. She was the one of 8 children and the last surviving children. Of those 102 years, 61 of them were spent in a loving, devoted relationship with my dad, who passed away in 2004. My dad did everything for my mom, but when my dad passed away, my mom had to fend for herself and became, and always was, a fiercely independent person. She maintained that ferocity to the end of her life. She lived a life with dignity. She got sick, but continued to live with dignity, and she passed away with dignity. Her one fear, and we spent the last 5 or 6 weeks with her at Riverview, going over her life, talking about family events, looking at pictures. Her one fear that she expressed over and over again is, I want to die with dignity. I do not want to spend my remaining days in a nursing home. And she got her wish. My mom lived through years, 102 years of history. It's hard to imagine. She was born right after the end of the First World War. She lived through huge social changes, huge technological changes, and she adapted to whatever came. When my father passed away, he used to do all the bills in the family. He took care of everything. My mother took over herself. It's the day of the internet. She started using a computer. She looked at her bills online. She communicated with her family by email. She was a progressive woman, an independent woman, as I said, and a remarkable woman. We spent a lot of time in the last 5 weeks not only talking about family, but current events, what was going on in the world, even up to the day before she passed. Her curiosity was alive, her mind was sharp as a tack, and she wanted to know what was happening in the U.S. election. Truly amazing. And it's with sadness that she passes, but it was a good life, a life well lived. She loved her children intensely, loved her grandchildren intensely, and her great-grandchildren. She was always there for them. Thick or thin, she was there for her family. My mom loved to cook, was a fastidious dresser. Whenever I visited her at the Shaftesbury, always dressed to the nines. She believed strongly in health, exercised just about every day. The instructors, some of them who emailed me and Carol about Mom's passing, said, what a remarkable woman Mom was, a fierce, independent warrior, I think one of them described. And that was my mom. Although she had a sharp mind and an even sharper memory right to the very end, it was her body that failed her. And I guess that's just the way it is. But she left behind so much with respect to everybody whose lives she touched, be it family, be it friends. She left so much in terms of learning, in terms of values, in terms of lifestyle to her children, her grandchildren, and her great-grandchildren. And without taking a theological view of the afterlife, I think part of the afterlife is knowing that what my mom imparted to all the various people that she came in contact with is going to be carried on from generation to generation to generation. So the body may go, but the metaphysical part of us continues to live. It lives in all the people that my mom has left behind and come in contact with. Now, we talked a bit about her funeral as she was failing, and she was worried about one thing, that we'd all be cold outside, so I'm going to keep it short and say we love you, Mom, but we'll miss you. Rest in peace. But just before I do it, I don't want to forget everything I wanted to say. I do want to thank a number of people who were close to her and gave her assistance in her last number of years. My mom, after my dad passed, continued to live in her condo for a number of years, and then moved into the Shaftesbury retirement home because she knew she needed some assistance. Wasn't until the last year that she really needed caregivers, but all of the people she came in contact with, the staff, the nurses, the caregivers at the Shaftesbury, made her life so much easier in her later years, and I know she wants me to thank them, and I do thank them. A special thanks goes out to the palliative care team, in particular Dr. Bruce Martin and Dr. Ted, as he's known, and they provide for all the failings that we see in the medical system and which we complain about, when you see how wonderfully and caringly people are treated in palliative care, that's one part of the medical system that we can be proud of. So a thank you to all of the people at not only the Shaftesbury, but at Riverview, where my mother spent her last days. A special thanks goes out to some of my relatives. Karen Steindl, who's a niece, visited my mother on frequent occasions, took my mother places, made her life that much easier. And her great niece, Marina Herskovich, a thank you to, because you also made my mother's life so much better in her later years. I could go on and on, but Mom, I know, would not want me to keep everybody out in the cold. So I'm just going to say, bless you, Mom. We love you. Rest in peace.
Thank you so much for that heartfelt eulogy. May Ruth's memory be a source of inspiration and comfort. Amen. I'm going to continue now with the El Maleh Rachamim, the memorial prayer. El Maleh Rachamim, Shochem Bameroimim, Hametzei Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashechina V'ma'alot Kedoshim Kedoshim Uteorim Kezoyer Rakim Amazirim Eden Ishema Eden Ishema Rochel Bat Mordechai Ben Pesel Shaleka Leolama Babur Shanu Mitpalelim V'adat Skarat Nishemata Began Eitein Began Edentei Menuchata Lachem Malarachamim Yahastir Eya Veseter Kena Avavleulamim Utzeror Bitzror Achayim Achayim et Nishemata Adonai Unachalata תנוח ושלום על משכבה ונאמר Amen. Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure to the soul of Ruth Gutkin, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life. May she rest in peace. All the souls say, Amen. Please join me now in the recitation of the words of comfort, the words of the mourner's Kaddish. Itgadal ve'itgadash shemei Rabah, be'alma divirach itute ve'yamlich marchute, b'chai echon u'vyom echon u'chayei dechol Beit Israel, ba'gala u'bizman kariv ve'imru Amen. Yehe shemei Rabah mevorach le'alam u'le'olmei olmaya, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירם בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום עם רומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו Amen. A couple of announcements. Immediately after the burial service is over, everybody is invited to participate of the meal of consolation. It's going to be as Donald and Belva's condo, 141 Wellington Crescent. Donations on Ruth's memory could be made to the Riverview Health Center Foundation. And now I would like to invite, actually it's an open invitation for everyone here to participate on the burial process. The rabbi said that this is the highest level of kindness that you can show to someone when we participate in the burial at a funeral. That's why the funeral home in Winnipeg is called Chesed Shel Emet, which means true kindness. True kindness is the kindness that we can offer to somebody who passed away. So, thank you everyone for coming out. Thank you to all of you for tuning in. I'd like to invite immediate family first to come pick up a shovel and to place it on top of Ruth's coffin. And after that, everybody else will be invited to do the same. Thank you everyone. In case there is everyone for whom the ground it's too hard to reach, there is a white bucket here at the front with fine gravel, and you can use that instead.